Hello, I'm ImmaDreygon, and it is cold outside. This is Ice Age. We lead with Scrat, the squirrel, trying to bury his nut. Chaos ensues. There's some fine physical humor here, but these glaciers look incredibly unnatural, and it's not just because of their speed. Regardless, he gets away, only to be crushed by migrating animals and the title. Topical humor from characters we don't care about.
You can play Extinction later.
Okay. Come on, guys.
A couple of things. First being the mammoth going the wrong direction. Why, you may ask? Good question. The other is a sloth that seems to have woken up late.
Isn't there anyone who cares about Sid the Sloth?
No, nobody does, and nobody will continue to.
Sick. Hey, wide body, curb it next time!
Oh, great. This is off to a fine start. Sid irritates a couple of rhinos who, understandably, want to kill him.
Hey, you rhinos, you have really tiny brains. Did you know that? No, it's just a fact. No offense.
So he runs off and into that mammoth from earlier.
Don't let them impale me, please. I want to live.
Get off me!
And the mammoth is a jerk.
Hey, buddy, it's not them today. It's just someone else tomorrow.
Yeah, everyone dies eventually, so screw helping other people ever. Then he helps anyways. Sid seems to think he contributed.
We make a great team. I mean, what do you say we just head south together?
Great, yeah. Hey, jump up on my back and relax the whole way.
Wow, really?
No.
And the mammoth is rightfully dismissive.
Stop following me.
Elsewhere, jeez. I really hope these are Neanderthals and not humans because these models are not pretty. I mean, I get it, it's early CG in the studio's first movie, but wow. Turns out they are human though, and a pair of saber-toothed tigers are talking about attacking the camp.
Let's show that human what happens when he messes with sabers.
Alert the troops.
Alert the troops? What, this is war now? And asking for the baby alive?
Bring me that baby. Alive. If I'm gonna enjoy my revenge, I want it to be fresh.
A bit awkward, but nothing terribly notable. Back with the odd couple, Sid continues to be useless.
I'm wiped out.
And Manny continues to be annoyed by him.
Isn't there someone else you can annoy? Friends, family, poisonous reptiles?
Scrat continues trying to hide his nut, and Fate continues to disagree. Nothing much of note. The tigers attack the human camp in the most non-lethal of ways, and the humans defend likewise. Diego follows the baby and mother until she jumps over the falls. Soto is angry about that.
I want that baby, Diego!
I'll get it.
You'd better, unless you want to serve yourself as a replacement.
And that's really harsh consequences. A little bit overdone in your vindictiveness, if I may say.
It'd better be alive.
Again, why do you need it alive? The ugly nomad men run off. The duo then come along that woman from earlier. She gives them the baby and vanishes. I do like that they did this scene, and others to come, without dialogue. It lends a bit of weight that the movie would not have had otherwise. Anyways, despite initially taking the kid, Manny wants to ditch out.
Hey, Manny, are you forgetting something?
No.
And Sid wants to return the baby to its herd.
Fine, be a jerk. I'll take care of him.
Oh, yeah, that's good. You'll take care of him. You can't even take care of yourself. This I gotta see.
Wait. Hold up. At first, Manny wants to get rid of Sid because he's annoying. And now the opportunity presents itself. Running and screaming, "Manny, solace is at hand. You may now purge yourself of the sloth blight and be free." And then he stays around just to make fun of him actually trying to help?
You're an embarrassment to nature. Do you know that?
Alright, Manny's not a loner. Manny's an asshole. Diego shows up and wants the baby,
That pink thing is mine.
which helps Manny decide that he's actually going to help Sid. Likely because he's found yet another character to piss off. So yeah, the humans have left, and now all three of the characters that hate each other are going on a road trip together. Diego threatens Sid, and we're off. Our next scene is just 2.5 minutes of arguing, crying baby, and generally nothing worthwhile. Then we get dodos killing themselves, and the slow motion football joke that everyone's seen a dozen times before. It's fine. Bedtime stuff. Diego stays awake and tries to take the baby. Yeah, nope. Other tigers show up to deliver Soto's redundant threats.
He said, come back with the baby, or don't come back at all!
And Diego promises to bring more than just the baby.
And tell him I'm bringing a mammoth.
Now we've got a question. Will Diego side with the pack, or will he side with the group he's traveling with? Well, to that I say, there is an answer you're not seeing. And that answer is, I don't care. In the morning, Sid's using the baby to pick up girls before Manny takes it back.
What's the matter with you?
And those rhinos make an appearance again. Manny complains about having to look after it himself.
What am I, their wet nurse?
Diego helps Sid ditch the rhinos. Numerous pointless road trip antics set to music.
Modern architecture. They'll never last.
At the end of it, Diego sees the humans up ahead and persuades the group to take a shortcut into an ice cave.
Sid, the tiger found a shortcut.
No thanks, I choose life.
Then I suggest you take the shortcut.
Through this strange, naturally occurring formation, the baby gets separated and slides down this labyrinthine and treacherous, but also totally safe, ice tunnel. Also naturally occurring. The baby's fine.
Whoa! Woo! Yeah! Who's up for round 2?
They come across some cave paintings and learn a little bit about Manny's history. Yeah, heart-wrenching and all of that. He's still more than just belligerent though, so he gets sympathy, but I still don't like him. Human dude and dogs don't seem like they can find human woman. The trio get out of the cave, but somehow, suddenly, volcanic activity from under the ice. How? I mean, there's a mammoth that jumps, intricate ice caves, but that's whatever. That's minor stuff and it's played for laughs. This is trying for a serious character moment based on the outcome of events using some of the strangest physics I've seen. Even suspending my disbelief, the moment is weak and it is rushed.
You could have died trying to save me.
That's what you do in a herd. You look out for each other.
I don't know about you guys, but we are the weirdest herd I've ever seen.
Tiger Pack again. More establishment of Soto as a mean, nasty, no good kitty.
Mammoths don't go down easy. There's only one way to do it. First, you have to force it into a corner. Cut off its retreat. And when you three have it trapped, I'll go for the throat.
Little scene where the kid learns to walk, and oh look, it walks towards Diego! Just in case you had any doubt about whose side he's going to take when they meet the Tiger Pack, which you didn't, it should be gone now. And for the record, that side is still, I don't care. Next morning, they're on their way again. Diego tells them about the pack.
At the bottom of Half Peak, there's an ambush waiting for you.
We get a very boring, liar revealed scene, and it's just so paint by numbers, by the book, uninspired. Oh, sorry to put you in this position, but you've got to trust me now because of it. Because they trust me and I can trick them. So it might be a tough decision, it's not a tough decision, but you've got to make it anyway. These characters are so paper thin that again, I do not care. When Diego meets up with the pack again, we get entry-level trickery. Sid's carrying what is for sure the baby, alone in the open. Then he escapes on skis. Blah blah blah, the babies actually Snow. Blah blah blah, Manny gets the drop on them. Blah blah blah, Diego stands up to Soto. They fight, and look how little weight is behind these blows. No impact, no scratches, nothing until Diego's knocked back. Then he gets right back up again, and again there's no weight behind this blow either. Props, however, because the writing doesn't look like they're pulling punches, and Soto dies and Diego is left to die also, but not before some last words.
You gotta be strong. You have to take care of Manfred and Sid. Especially Sid.
Manny and Sid go to deliver the baby to the humans, and this scene is actually really well executed. Manny shows that he's in charge here, but also gentle and giving. Humans show their ferocity, but their compassion as well. It's actually really nice. Oh, then Diego comes back, so they do pull their punches, and in a pretty pathetic manner because nothing at all changes from him being around still. God damn it. We close. No, wait, one last scrat gag, where he shoves a coconut into the sand, which then sends cracks up to a mountaintop, causing a volcanic eruption. How tightly packed is this sand that you can cause cracks like this in it? Whatever, it seems like most volcanoes are on hairpin triggers in this series anyway. So, how is it? Well, the movie proclaims itself as a comedy, but I couldn't tell from the abundance of jokes, because for a lot of it, there weren't any. There are some funny scenes, but a lot of it is too serious to be a comedy. And joke-wise, lots of the shots that they took were just not working for me at all. Beyond that, two scenes deal very heavily in poop jokes. The scrat gags are pretty nice, nothing particularly memorable, but they're fine. Just in general though, I think the movie fails as a comedy, but luckily there is more to it than that. Unfortunately, those aspects don't fare much better. There's also the adventure road tripping thing, which is mostly just boring, and that's entirely because of the characters that you're there with. Manny's motivations are incredibly shaky at the start, and I'm left not really feeling like I know him as a result. Sid contributes nothing for a good long time, and we are reminded of that often. Diego goes through a super predictable character arc and has among the most pointless death fakeouts I've ever seen, which, in hindsight, seems explicitly done to open up the story to a sequel. Soto is redundantly sinister and entirely through talk and no action, so he doesn't really come off as genuinely threatening. The characters that are actually handled the best, I'd say, would be the humans, and it's likely because of the total lack of dialogue to screw it up, because that is another issue with the movie. A lot of the dialogue is so stiff, and it can be seen in the very first scene.
Hey! Do the world a favor! Move your issues off the road!
If my trunk was that small, I wouldn't draw attention to myself, pal.
That is clearly an insult, but it's being played like it's a threat, because they wanted to have a joke in there, but they still wanted Manny to come off in the way that they wanted.
Oh, go ahead. Follow the crowd. You'll be quieter when you're gone.
And this, what does he mean by you'll be quieter when you're gone? Is he planning on staying up north? Does he know of some danger to the south? No, because he heads south with his friends right after dropping off the kid. With dialogue like this, it's no wonder why the most memorable part of this movie is a squirrel that never talks. And if he was planning on going south since the start, why do we first see him heading north against the other animals? Which leads to another thing. The story is awkward. The only real reason that there's a story at all is because Sid feels the need to deliver a baby back to a group of humans that would probably hunt them under other circumstances. Manny and Diego initially have no instinct to deliver the baby, but Manny comes around instantly for no discernible reason, and Diego is more understandable but not compelling. It feels like they just threw together their three leads to interact with each other, which, yeah, that's kind of the point of most comedies. But the fact that it is so apparent does not bode well for the rest of the film. The animation is a little bit hit or miss. Most of the character designs look pretty good, though Sid's eyes do still bug me a bit. I can forgive the human models because of the early CG, this being Blue Sky's first movie, and the fact that they're kind of supposed to look that way in the time period. But ugly can still be good to look at. Scrat is probably their best motion in animation, and he's got a ton of character through a total lack of words, and only an acorn for motivation. But then there's this awkward speeding glacier and these fights with a total lack of any dynamics behind them, and that's pretty disappointing. That being said, a lot of the movement when they're trying to be comedic is really nice, and this is probably the best aspect of the comedy. It's also worth noting that a lot of the sound design is done really well. A lot of the natural sounds are rather nice, specifically the cracking of that awkwardly fast glacier. In general, the whole thing is just disappointing to me. I can get if other people like it a lot, but this just does nothing for me outside of the scenes without dialogue or fighting, which is maybe 5 minutes or so. But it is clear in that time that there is some decent work being done from an animation standpoint. Most of the issues with it is the writing, and others are what comes from being a fledgling studio. But the writing just makes it seem like the movie is trying to be just like everything else. Then it's just like everything else with no true identity itself aside from a squirrel. So yeah, there's about 10 tons of boring and lightly irritating right here, and about 10 ounces of charm and wit over there. Make what you will of that. Next time, some weird crossover stuff that I'm probably not prepared for and may be derivative of my other work.